Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's game between the SMN Indoor Blitzstalker and the Mpumalanga. Should be a really good game ahead of us tonight. The guys have been out and about today, doing a bit of clinics, playing a little bit of golf, and they look ready for the challenge tonight. And Mpumalanga have come a long way and seem to be up for the challenge as well. Tonight's teams are going to be similar to last night, the SMN. We've got the goalkeepers Anton van Lochrenberg and Cameron Goodwin. At the back we've got Jethro Hustis. We've also got Rustin Abrams, Malric Maddox, Stephen Paulo, Marvin Simons, Chad Futcher, Jared Jones and Keegan Heslett. For Mpumalanga tonight we've got Natium Sangu, Zian Jacobson, Jordan Cullitz, Michael Kendall, Frank Flowers, Connor Flowers, Hilton Jacobs, and Connor Beck. And I would love to introduce my co-commentator who's just walked in, Mr. Tyron Barnard. How are you, sir?
How are you, Carl? How's it this evening?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Are you excited for tonight's game?
Yeah, look, I watched last night on the stream. It was good to see the guys back in action. Good to see some of the SA boys are looking very fit considering the lockdown we've just had. And Mpumalanga are a province on the rise. They're not quite there yet, but they're a proper competition now, and it'll be a good test, a nice physical game.
Yeah, definitely a team that's worked hard over the last couple of years, and from IPT this year, they put on a dominating performance. And I think shocked quite a few people that thought, this might be a side that gets walked over quite a lot. But this year they came out firing and made sure that they were one of the teams to be scared of. And hopefully they bring that performance tonight again. Any predictions for tonight?
No, look, I mean, South Africa will, obviously the SA men will win this quite comfortably. But the question is, it's more a case of, are they executing on what they mean to, the things they've spoken about? Do they play better than they played last night? Because that's what you want to see from a team together in a camp, is that each time they play that a little bit better. And I'm thinking that tonight you'll see a bit of that. You'll see a bit of the rust start to come off. The likes of Rustin Abrahams getting maybe a little bit more dominant in the game than he was last night. Obviously, probably the goal scoring let them down a lot last night. So they'd be looking to definitely test Connor in goals a lot more.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I was just saying beforehand, ball flying past us here. I was just saying beforehand that I would love to see a very dominant performance by the SMN tonight. It's not always easy going up against competition that's not always quite at your level, but the guys are definitely here and ready. So I'm sure that it's going to be a really, really good game with tonight and hopefully a lot of goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you look at the players that the SA men have, I mean, Chad Futcher is an absolute goal-scoring machine. You throw him in with Marvin Simons, who creates more opportunities than most. Jared Jones is probably the best indoor hockey player we've had in the country in 20, 30 years. And then you've got the complete danger from short corner time in Jethro Hustis with his flicks, Malric Maddox. I mean, there's goals all over the field. Keegan Heslett and Stevie P, of course, are goal scorers too. So lots of goal scorers, but sometimes when you play a team that's, with all due respect, the lesser team, you kind of, you've played it. You kind of open yourself up so much more because you're almost a little bit complacent. You're expecting to win without having even taken on the game yet.
No, I couldn't agree more. It's been really, last night the guys came out and I think they were a little bit, dusting off the cobwebs maybe. I saw a lot of double turnovers which were unnecessary in a way. And I'm hoping to see that the SMN come out tonight and show a little bit more of that class and that finesse that they have to keep the game under control and be more composed throughout the game. And like we said, let the goals tick over throughout. Last night there were two chuckers that were a little bit goalless or a little bit slow. And hopefully once they put the foot down, they'll keep it down tonight.
Yeah, I also think if you do spare a thought here for Mpumalanga, You know, this is a team that during lockdown we saw on social media. They did a lot of practices and stuff together at the hockey farm when they were allowed to. Obviously not before that. We didn't see anything like that. But we saw a lot of practices. They're a team that play a lot of hockey together. Obviously from the indoor IPT, no Liam Amanis, who was massive for them. But they're a strong team. They're going to be physical. And I think that's something that sometimes some of our flair players for the South African men get a little bit worked up by that, instead of focusing on the game. So that could be a really good test for them, to get some of that physical play going on and testing them. And, you know, the likes of Jared Jones, Jethro Eustace, Chad, they won't shirk away from that kind of challenge. But, you know, let's see, does the flair stand up against that physicality?
Yeah. And with a coach that's as passionate as Claudine Collins, she's been with the side for quite a few years, and I think she's really managed to get a group of guys together that have stayed together for a long time. I mean, the likes of Connor and Frank Flowers playing together. I mean, brothers playing together. Jordan Cullitz, I remember them as juniors in the PSR setup, playing for the Mumbas. And, they've come a long way, and they've stepped up and showed maturity, sometimes a little bit beyond the years maybe, but it's really nice to see from a side and guys that come out from a province like Mpumalanga, where, it's not they don't have although the hockey farm is a fantastic facility, they don't have a lot of facilities like we have here at Cliffview Primary. And, Joburg, we spoiled for choice. And, I mean, you go to Durban and Cape Town, they've got all those facilities. So to get the experience that these guys are now exposed to playing against the SMN, it's great for our country so that the players can develop. These guys can develop. We have Jordan Cullitz and Michael Kendall that were in the under-23 side last night as the guys line up. And so they're going to be getting, double the experience against the SMN, which is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you and I both come from Eastern Gauteng, which is also a notorious small province. So we know what it's like. It's exactly what Mpumalanga struggle with. There's a lot of guys who play schoolboy hockey there. And unfortunately, once they finish with school, they end up going, to Joburg, to Pretoria, to Cape Town to study further. And they just have a steady outflow of players. They've got a fantastic system with the Mumbas and the hockey farm, in building up. But it's hard to keep that talent. So what they've done with the hockey farm, what the Flowers and Claudine Collins have done is sensational. And, they have to get given credit. They're willing to travel. I mean, they travel like machines to play the game that they love. And that's exactly what we need. I see Pistol Pete Calder, one of our top indoor hockey umpires, is blowing the game today. So again, giving them a proper experience of an international fixture.
Yeah, indeed. We've got Peter Calder and JP Muller behind the whistles tonight. It should be an interesting game. I think last night they had a really good game, not too many mistakes, and I think that's crucial in a series like this where we're just trying to get the guys back and get them playing again. We mentioned last night that they've been out of touch, obviously, because of the predicament that everyone's been in, and it's great to see everyone back on the field. But we're about to push back for the first half, and yeah, let's see how it goes. And we're off to a nice quick start from Mpumalanga. Good pressure on the board from the SMN. Taking it back to Jethro just to keep the patient, forcing it through. Marvin Simon showing some of that quick hands. Ball into Jared. And it's a great touch by Malrick to get the first goal. 1-0 with only a few seconds to go.
I'm not entirely sure that's where Malrick meant for the ball to go, but it got there, and it's a good goal, and that's exactly what they would have wanted to just calm those early nerves for some of the players, is just get that early goal on the score sheet.
Michael on the ball. Looks to find space. Jordan gets it through, but a great interception from Rustin there. Michael grabs it to end through. Jared with a great tackle. And, this is what I'm talking about, those sort of double turnovers that the guys are forcing themselves into, which are unnecessary. I think the guys, we talk about early nerves in a game, which is understandable. But, the guys must really make sure that it's not something that they get into a habit of.
No, absolutely. I think no, I'm not going to make Kyle hold the mic the whole night for me, but I think it's yeah, it's part and parcel of the long gap that we've had. You know, a lot of guys, you can run around your garden, you can do garden marathons as much as you want, but there's nothing like pure competition on a pitch, on a turf, on a court, whatever it is, to bring the best out of your game of hockey once again. And that's exactly what they all would have been missing, is that opportunity, that competition, etc., to really have that chance to fight. Here we go, Malrick Maddox on the ball, looking through to Jared Jones, and holds it up. You see, that's where, when young kids are watching, that's where Jared is so good. Instead of forcing the gap, he goes back and creates again. And so often when you watch the youngsters play that kind of opportunity, they lose the ball because they try and force the gap.
Yeah, awesome composure. And we saw that rotation again. Jared Jones getting the ball, trying to look through for the ball onto P-spot for Malrick. He didn't quite receive it how he wanted to, so he went back out again. And that's what we want to see from the SMN tonight. You know, that composure, as you see Marvin in the D showing some flair, winning the short corner. Nice inside pull just to put it on the foot of Zian there. It's it's something that these guys are really good, and Jared Jones is particularly good at that, and he's shown huge amounts of experience you know, in the last couple of years, and he's just so composed when he gets on the pitch. He seems to nearly take it with such a relaxed attitude, but critical when he needs to be.
Yeah, you know, Jared obviously has been to 2 World Cups already. He is lined up to go to the next one should South Africa qualify. Oh, that's on the body. Yeah, that's on the body. Penalty strike. I was going to point out, do you see what Marvin did in the build-up to win the penalty corner there? You know, when you're playing against international teams, he's not going to have time like that. So what I'd love to see him do, instead of doing the inside pull there, on his first touch, he had the opportunity when the keeper was out. Love to see him turn and shoot. But let's see if Jethro can score here. He can't. It's not a great penalty flick. And in fairness, a pretty easy save there for Connor Beck. So yeah, I'd like to see that kind of step up. I think Marvin Simmons has the most incredible hands in indoor hockey in South Africa, but he needs to take that early opportunity like that. What a goal.
Really good goal there from Nati. A great ball through from Jordan Cullitz off the board, and a response that Mpumalanga is definitely going to try and capitalize on. Pouncing on Geraldine Popo there, 2v1. Jordan Cullitz not quite getting the blow he wanted. Gerald a bit eager to take it there, just been forced to take it back a little bit. But yeah, good response from Mpumalanga, and that's the style of hockey that we've seen them, the never say die attitude that they've sort of developed over the last few months and years. Stephen just not letting that go through for Chad. But yeah, they've really developed that attitude, and it's great to see. It's something that, you know, even against an SSR, they're not going to take it lying down, and they're going to push as hard as they can for the whole game.
What you will see from Mpumalanga tonight is very direct hockey, because if you can't take on each person man for man, you need to bypass as many as possible. And so you're going to find that South Africa are going to move the ball a lot. They're going to rotate a lot more. It's going to be a lot of these 1-2 passes. Well defended there by Zian Jacobson, let's go with rather. But what you'll see is Mpumalanga are going to try and move the ball quickly and try and use an overlap as quickly as possible. Like that, get out, and immediately they've got a 3-on-2. Because if you can't beat someone necessarily on skill level, yeah, right, correct call there, Jethro going off his feet. But you can't beat them. You want to be direct. You want to be attacking. And again, if they get chances in the D, what we know from Mpumalanga is they're going to shoot. They're not going to hold back. They're going to shoot, and they're going to go for goal. And so Cameron in goals needs to be very much on his feet, you know, on his toes, being ready, because he's not going to get 3 seconds. They're not going to turn and look for a space. They're going to turn and shoot blindly. And that's, again, I think it's a very important thing when you are the underdog. Shot wide there by Jordan Cullitz. Yeah, in fairness, that's where you really need to be putting South Africa under pressure. If you're Mpumalanga, you've got a great opportunity there. You must hit the target. It's a golden rule.
Yeah, capitalize on your opportunities, and I think, Nutty did that really well. Jethro coming up here, trying to push through. Deemed a shield by Peter Calder. Jet disagreeing slightly. And there's another step by Jet, making sure that the Mpumalanga is under as much pressure as possible. He wants to get a goal, driving through, getting into the D. Stroke again. Yeah.
I mean, I'll say it because you don't want to, but that's not a strike. I'd have given the penalty corner there. It's a very fortunate decision.
Yeah, ball running away from Jet a bit there, but Chad Futcher stepping up to the P spot. Let's see what he can do. Double step, and he makes sure that it hits the net. Futch getting his first goal for the night. Hopefully one of many.
Carl, you've played a lot of hockey with Chad. Did you teach him that little fakey right, go left?
Listen, I grew up with, I coached Chad while he was growing up, but I think the last 3 years he's been teaching me a lot of things. So no, the man has stepped up hugely, and I can't tell you how much he's grown as a player, as a person. But yeah, going from strength to strength, and showing his class there, just composed, easily slotting it for the penalty flick. Gerald Mpopo winning the ball off the board there, off to Jethro. Great little through ball. Chad getting a touch on, but a good step by Connor Beck to close down the space, not allowing Chad any time to get the ball up in the air.
Jethro is almost unrivaled in South African hockey's vision like that. The ability to see the gap, and that kind of thing you can do against the best countries in the world. Pop it through the gap, and you set up a chance straight away. Connor Beck looking like he's in the mood to really thwart the South African side tonight.
Yeah, fending off save after save. He's making sure that the ball stays out of the goal. Good composure again, the SMN, not scared to take it out, letting it go back to Jet, making sure that they're working the gaps through. And Mpumalanga releasing a little bit of pressure as Keegan Hazard picks it up at the back, using the board to get it to Gerald Mpopo into the middle to Chad Futcher, looking for that through ball, not happening, so happy to go back, keeping a composure, using the ball, Gerald Mpopo in the D, forcing it through. Again by Connor Beck, getting a good touch on that. Stephen getting the ball into the D. Again, Jordan just clearing it out there, releasing a bit of pressure.
Yeah, so I think there's the kind of thing that David Joshua will look at and say, I want a little bit more from you guys. I want a little bit more, clinical passing. They're moving into space, so they're not finding each other. And that's great pressure there by Stephen Power. Unfortunately, not the best technique in keeping it down. But that's what you want. You're getting in good positions here. But we're not finding sticks. We're forcing it. We're putting it in front of each other. And obviously, that comes with more time on the pitch together. Here's a chance, Keegan Hazlitt. Very interesting to see Hazlitt sitting at the back a little bit. Obviously, one of the finest strikers at our IPT recently. But also showing that in indoor hockey, you can't be an out-and-out striker. You have to be an indoor hockey player who's able to drop, who's able to tackle, who's able to defend, and who's able to attack, and showing quite well that he's willing to do what it takes for the team. This is better from Mpumalanga, just slowing it down. I thought it comes to the end of the check. I didn't see a clock, then maybe they shouldn't have slowed it down. But no, look, at the end of the check, if they're looking at that, they're saying 2-1, we've been competitive. I think they've tried to force it a little bit too much. I also think South Africa are probably guilty of overplaying instead of taking the opportunities and just find a simple pass. It doesn't always have to be the most creative pass. South Africa leading through goals by Chad Futcher and Malrick Maddox, leading 2-1.
And it's an interesting thing that you mentioned there, that the clock is not visible to the players, so it comes down to some good communication from the coach and the manager, to give them that information, because it's something that you need to be aware of as a player on the field, that if you've got some time you can take it. But if you don't have the time and you need to put some pressure on, or get the ball into the other half to possibly win a short corner at the last dying seconds of a game of the chucker, so that's an interesting thing that they don't have here tonight. But just something that the players will take in their stride and move on. It's nothing untoward, and it's something they'll just get over.
So, I mean, Kyle, you've done a lot of coaching with schools and obviously with sportsways and stuff. Quickly, 30 seconds, what would your key message have been to the SA men there if you were the coach?
Yeah, I would have said, let's keep the ball. Let's make sure we're moving again. They worked really nicely with that rotation that they started getting on, the little 1-2s. So a little bit more of that sort of two-touch hockey, get the ball, pass the ball, move into space, and occupy better areas. Very similar to what Connor Flowers just did there. That corner position is so crucial in the indoor game. From there, it is such a good attacking opportunity to wing the ball across for a deflection or even a goal. Marvin Simons winning the ball there. A little bit of flair again to get around the player. Going to take the free hit advantage. Could have been played, but going to take it out and make sure that they recycle the ball again. Going to a bit of a back four. Rustin Abrams getting the ball, trying to force it through. Slips away from him. Good chase down. Getting it back to Jethro. Jethro going to hold it off. Let it go back to Jared Jones. Jared Jones showing that composure and that relaxed attitude. A great deflection. And a short corner. I think that was the right call. Connor Beck just playing it into Melrick as he was set on the floor there.
I liked Connor's positioning there. He picked up the ball quite quickly and he closed the gap onto Melrick. What this does for keepers watching is it just allows the ball to move so little after it's hit Melrick's stick before it's you. So he's not going to get it over you from that range. He's going to struggle to get it around you. And so you make it a much more difficult skill to pull off just by the fact that you close the gap. It's Rustin Abrams who's really become a pivotal part of the SA teams with the push. And Jethro Eustace, absolute bullet into the bottom left corner. Exactly what South Africa would have wanted. And that's exactly what they want. It's the kind of stroke flick that he's not really taken too often for the national team back when Matt Fairweather used to be around, because he used to take those absolute bullets. But he's just reminding everybody of just how good he actually is. It's why Robert Tiggs once said that he's one of the few all-stars in the South African side. Here's Rustin Abrams, a player who did go to the last World Cup with South Africa as a youngster. He's now one of the senior players in the team. Good ball by Marek. And once again, Connor just getting really good positioning so he doesn't actually have to make a good save.
Yeah, I've seen that there's been about three deflections from the center of the D as Mpumalanga get the ball. Jet just easy passing out to Marvin, using his hands to get it out. A 3v1. Beck using his space again and closing the space down. But definitely going for a lot of deflections. The SA men, maybe a bit of a tactic or something that was said that David Joshua wants to test out and make sure that they're putting them under that kind of pressure. These are the games where if you got something you want to work on, you're gonna work on it. Unfortunately, that touch just not getting through there from Keegan.
Yeah, look, I love a deflected goal. It was a bit of a dodgy substitution there by Mpumalanga. But I much more like a goal like that. Quick hands, quick movement. Let the ball move and you create space just by your movement. And we see the East Rand Kwacha's connection coming in there with Stephen Parler and finishing it off after a pass from Chad and Keegan Heslett's involvement there. But I'd like to see more of that. I think, on their last break, it was 3-on-1 and they held the ball too long, South Africa. Their quick pass movements, not even a great keeper can stop that. A keeper in absolutely sensational form can never move as quick as the ball. So if you're switching it, you're changing his sides, you're going to put him off his centre of gravity. He's going to struggle to make a save, or he's going to have to pull out a world-class save. That's what David Joshua must want, is that quick ball. It doesn't matter who you're playing. The best in the world will struggle to keep up with you. It was really good defence there by Chad and Gerald G-Star Mpopo together there. Just waiting, just giving enough space. Going on that old saying, giving enough rope, but waiting for the striker to use it to move on. Another player that's interesting is Gerald Mpopo. Obviously, this is his first call-up. Here's Chad. And again, not the greatest execution by Chad, but you could see exactly what he's going through. And that's the kind of thing that he usually eats up, quite simply.
Yeah, he's trying to go for that roundhouse flick, showing good technique. And yeah, as you were talking about Jordan Popo, a player that's stepped up a lot as well, and a guy that would normally be in the middle of the field, but showing his character and the ability to play anywhere on the field, playing at the defense as Chad Futcher runs it in, trying to look for the little slip back to Keegan, but unfortunately being intercepted by Michael. Keegan got on the ball again, driving through, good stretch through, looking up to find someone. Unfortunately not getting the blow that you wanted there, Stephen Paulo. Game getting a little bit loose, and I think that's something that maybe Mpumalanga would prefer, is to have the game, a little bit not as structured and composed as they would like. And they can pounce on the fact that the SMN are a little bit disorganized, but they've gained structure now, and it's something that the SMN are definitely going to work on, making sure that structure stays as solid as it can for as long as it can. The Mpumalanga men trying to rotate as much as they can. It's just intercepting that ball nice and easily. A little 1-2 from Chad and Stephen. Stephen going for the reverse flick, but just not pulling it off. And I think it's these small touches that the guys, being out for so long and unfortunately out of game situation, that it just, those little edges seem to get a little bit rough. And that's why I'm glad that these guys are here. They can pick them up. A great little interception from Chad. They've got the 3-on-1. They're going for the pass back. And a nice little tap in. That's the type of hockey that I was really hoping to see tonight. And the smiles all around, high fives. Great hockey.
I'm enjoying the triangular being formed between Keegan Hazard, Chad and Stephen. Chad and Stephen played a lot of youth hockey together and they know each other. But what I like is that it's a very fluid triangle. Nobody is stuck in one side of it. They keep moving around, changing the points. And again, yeah, exactly right. I mean, there's nothing quite like being on a field to get your match fitness and that sharpness back. And I mean, you see a footballer who's been out for a long time come back and his first touch is like a donkey, even though he's been in practice. And that's exactly what you see. I mean, look, South Africa should always win this comfortably. That's a great ball. And a superb finish by Keegan Hazard. You see, once again there, Stevie P standing back, holding up, waiting before he passes it. And that makes it 6-1 to South Africa. Again, for the youngsters watching, it's a great technique to learn from. That when you get in the D, you don't have to panic. You don't have to shoot straight away. You often have time to stop, look up, see what options are there, and go from there. There's an early card here. It was for Hilton. Sorry, I just saw Rustin running off the field. Yeah, and so once again, obviously I hope there's a lot of youngsters watching this, because you should be watching your national team whenever you get the opportunity to. But also, yeah, that was up with Maurig's stick. Also, it's a great opportunity to learn what's happening here. Of course, the other thing that we must always be reminded of is the South African team comes from all over the country: Western Province, KwaZulu-Natal, Southern Gauteng, Northern Gauteng. And they haven't been together for a month. The guys drove up and flew up yesterday afternoon. They played last night pretty much with no training, with very little training time together. Today they've had a little bit more time together. But we must be reminded, hockey is an amateur sport, so these guys, they need things like this, so they get more time together. Our men's game is the strength of our men's game is very spread across the country, and so if you want to get the teams together, you have to have things like this. And well done to Cliffview Primary School and Gauteng Griffins for putting it together. If you see flashes of light, it's not our massive audience watching the game. There is a lot of lightning in the area. Of course, we're fine inside here, but nothing like a Joburg lightning show. And if our lights go out, the lightning hit very close. It wasn't Eskom. But here's Gerald Mpopo, good ball, Marvin Simmons. showing quick hands again, but giving it away. The easy ball was on there, and that's something that, again, you'll see a lot of growth from Marvin Simmons. The more he plays here, it's not a call I agree with. I think it was a perfectly good tackle. I think Jared moved out of the way there. But you at home make your own decisions. I think that's where you'll see a lot of growth. Marvin Simmons getting to play in this environment. I mean, obviously, Southern's play, and you are a Southern's stalwart, almost, a veteran almost. But Southern's play a very flair-based game, very quick hands, and it really drives in that situation. You know, when you play for the national team, beat one past the ball. You don't need to beat three. Beat them by running off the ball. That's going to make a massive difference, and he's such a talented player. That's a really good rundown by Cameron Goodwin, and that is half-time, 6-1 to South Africa.
Yeah, I think you dead right in that, you know, Marvin's shown huge amounts of flair and huge amounts of skill, and in a game like this, he's able to get away with maybe taking on one or two players. You know, and I watched the Swiss series in December. What's December? Jesus, this year's been 3 years in one. But I think, you know, when they played against the Swiss, and that's where these guys really took the time, and they stepped up hugely, because they took that opportunity, and like you said, if they had to beat a player, they used the skill that they have, but then got the ball moving, and they really stepped themselves up. I think the style that they're playing tonight is not anywhere close to what they were playing against Switzerland earlier, late last year. You know, although the score will say that, but I think it's something that David Joshua is definitely going to be chatting to the guys now about, to say, you know, let's make sure we stay disciplined. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Even if we win this game 21-0, I would rather the game only be 10-0, but we've worked on the small things that we have to as a team and as a nation to go forward, than to go out there and, you know, the likes of Stephen Paolo and, you know, any one of those guys over there can take every single one of these players on by themselves. But they need to make sure that they're progressing as a team and making sure that they're getting a nice connection. Nice big strike there close to us.
It's just everyone upstairs agreeing with you there. No, it's absolutely. I think the people at home watching are probably saying, Carl, shush, we want to see 30 goals. But absolutely, I mean, it's all about getting the nitty-gritty right, getting the small stuff right. And you know, giving guys time on the court together. That's what it's all about. It's about growth. It's about opportunity. And just remember, there's 11 players here for South Africa, I think it is. 8 and 2 keepers, of course, so only 10. They've got a squad of 23. You know, Mustafa and Diane, Kasim, Ryan, Julius, you know, not Joey Erasmus, but you're talking so many guys that aren't here. Lungi Gabela, Dario Lorenko. You got the Robinson brothers. I mean, you've got a squad that is massive, a squad of players that is really, really special. I mean, Sizwe Ntembu, who we put on the cover of Hockey the Magazine, second edition, is one of the other keepers. Really, really cool story about his life. You know, a superb story about his life. Because he has Anton going in goals, and of course, he's another player. I mean, go and look back at what happened in the IPT. Go and read the articles, go listen to the podcasts that are out there. This man basically pulled off a Chuck Norris in the IPT final with a dislocated shoulder, put in a man-of-the-match performance to lead Province to back-to-back titles in a game where the KZN Raiders were better. I really liked that there from Marvin, much better. Got an early ball, early pass movement, final pass by Melrick, not quite there, but he's creating opportunities, and there Marvin is much closer to scoring a goal by a good given goal.
Good move here, Jared Jones with a great one-touch goal. Yeah, and that you're saying, that movement of the ball, that quick receive the ball, look up, make a pass, and it's definitely something that I think David Joshua has maybe just said to the guys, you know what, let's work on that, make sure, and it's come out with the goal to make it 7-1. And let's see what Mpumalanga can come back with. You know, it's always difficult to go down, like you said, you know, coming from Easterns, I'm not shy of having to have gone down quite a few goals in a game, but it shows the character of a team that can come come back and still keep fighting no matter what the score is. And I think that's what the Mpumalanga side just needs to show here now, is a little bit of patience and to make sure that they're just putting the pressure on and taking the opportunities that they can. Marek trying to go through, but a great tackle from Frank Flowers. Not getting it there.
Yeah, it's often interesting in a game like this. Let's just see if Jethro, very telegraphed and an easy tackle there. Michael Kendall, he lays it across, not the greatest pass. Nati Masangu, the man who is part of a lot of what they're doing good on social media there in Mpumalanga. So yeah, I mean, obviously when you are the underdog team like Mpumalanga here, you are coming often into a game like this and you know you're not going to win it. And that's not any disrespect. There's a goal for Marvin Simmons, Connor Beck for the first time tonight, not getting a strong hand behind it. But so you coming in as Mpumalanga, you know you're going to lose this game. So there's often a thing with the coach. What is their game objective? Is it how many goals they want to score? Is it how many goals they want to concede? And and it's interesting because I thought in the first chaka, Mpumalanga played a lot more direct and it looked a lot more interested in scoring. And I think in the second chaka and the start of this, I've seen them sit back a little bit more. I mean, that could just be a fitness thing, but it could also be a very clear thing from the coach saying, okay, let's hold back a bit and try and not concede. I'd love to see her just take the handbrake off in the last quarter. I mean, they may concede 5 or 6 goals, but really give it stick and almost push a third up front, almost play a 1-1-3 kind of thing, and really try and test South Africa and see, are South Africa able to work their way out of tight spaces? That's what exhibition hockey is, and that's what everybody watching at home is hoping to see, is just some great goal-scoring action, some great goal-saving. Obviously, the teams still have their objectives, but that's what I'm sure most people are looking forward to seeing. Ooh, going with the yellow, it's obviously a part of our game that really needs to be stamped out. And Peter Calder's showing that he takes this game just as seriously as any other.
Yeah, Pistol Pete not shy to throw out a yellow card there. But, a little bit of a... No, it's got a touch outside. So Chad Futcher gets the ball again in the D. Ball across, looking for the deflection from Stephen Paulo. But Connor Flowers using the space. See if he's got the wheels to catch the ball. Moving in a goal off the line, but just going off the baseline for a free hit out there. But yeah, I think I have to agree with you in terms of that. I would like to see Mpumalanga just throw something out, something different. Make sure that the SMN are having to stay on their toes, making sure that they're not just getting comfortable. And you said, throw 3 up front. I would like to see them press the back 2 really hard, especially when Jet's not on the field. Put guys that are maybe not as experienced in the SA setup, but like someone like Gerald Mpopo, if he's at the back, put him under pressure and test him. A guy like that, he's got the ability, and this is where he needs to make sure that his skills are great. A great baseline finish there from Stephen Paulo. I'm not sure if Chad Futch got a final touch on that. Did he get it? Yeah. Chad Futch with the last touch to get it past Connor Beck there, and that makes it 9-1. Yeah, 9-1.
Yeah, it's definitely, as a coach, or at least as a former coach, I am only behind microphones and pens these days, but as a former coach, that's something I would have done as well. I would have known that I didn't have the fitness to press for the full 40 minutes, but what I would have done is I would have targeted. I would have absolutely targeted, and when you look at it and you say, well, Jethro or Gerald, you're going to target Gerald because he's the less experienced player. So he's the player who I would have just put a little bit more pressure on. When Keegan Hezit's defending, put a bit more pressure. But you see here, what they're doing to themselves is they're alienating their players. They're lucky there because he really had nothing. They're alienating their players, and instead of giving an opportunity on Mpumalanga, all they were doing there, by pressing around behind the front to support, all you're doing is if you lose the ball, you're giving an overlap immediately. Someone has to give him the option of an easy escape ball.
And I think that's the challenge that we face here tonight is, when the game starts getting away from Mpumalanga, there seems to get a bit of a leak in the roof here. It's really bucketing down outside. So they go just pause the game to make sure that there's no injuries. That's the last thing we want now is an injury because a player has slipped on the floor. The surface is going to get really slippery the minute it gets wet. So we might just get a bit of a break in play to either let the rain pass a little bit, or we're going to just wipe up the floor and keep going. But as I was saying, the fear and what I hope doesn't happen is that Mpumalanga starts to get a bit individual. They're a side that when playing as a team can really be effective, like they showed on RPT. But if they make the mistake of going individual, it can cost them. And like you said, against these players, the SMN are gonna throw two guys at any player that's going at them one-on-one, and they're definitely not going to come out on top.
It's an interesting thing here. You see a little huddle forming, and Keegan Heslett leading a lot of the discussions there, which is interesting because he's also quite new into the squad, although all of them are except for Rustin Abrahams in that group. But showing some nice leadership skills there. I see more water coming in over our left shoulder now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to underwater hockey, because there is a lot of water coming down right now, and this could be very interesting. Stephen Powler giving a wave to all the fans at home. Rustin saying hi to his mom. I mean, it's always nice that guys greet their moms. Of course, we do know the convener of selectors, Greg White, and his family are watching. So good evening, Greg. Well, we have this little interlude. I mean, Kyle, as a hockey player yourself, because I think we are actually going to get a short break here because there's a lot of water coming in. As a hockey player, how did you cope with the lockdown, and what did you do to try and stay fit?
Thanks. I'm not sure what's going to happen now. We're going to have a look. I think they're going to pause the game for a while. But yeah, interesting things happening here. I don't know if there must be a curse with SA Hockey. I know when they played the series in Durban, we also had guys slipping all over the court because it just kept on raining. So it must be a bit of a curse that the guys have, that it, no matter when they start playing, it seems to have some sort of rain coming through. But yeah, Tyron, I definitely try to stay fit during the lockdown. I was actually really lucky to get involved with Chad Futcher and some of the SA Blitzdogs. They got one of the German guys. Forgive me, I don't know his name, but I would often make sure that Chad he's getting his training done, and I would join in the background and try and follow. I couldn't keep up all the time, but I tried to do my best. But besides that, it was just trying to do as much as I could to keep the guys going. And that's it. It looks like that they've called the game for tonight. I think that this rain's not going to pass anytime soon. So that's it for tonight. It looks like it.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the amount of water coming in, it's just not going to be safe to play. I mean, the far D is a pool. So unfortunately, that'll be it. Should we see if we can grab one of the SA players to have a quick chat? Let's see if we can get Jethro. So we're going to just get Jethro up here before we cut the stream off. So Jethro's just running up the stairs quickly. Let's see if we can get... Hi, Jet. So we got Jethro, the captain of the South African team, with us. Jet obviously cut short because of the rain. It's wet, unfortunately. So it's not safe, unfortunately, with the D's full. But are you happy with getting out there tonight and getting a chance to play?
Yeah, Ty, again, this reminds me of the Swiss series back last year in September when we were at Danville, and the weather affected the games a little bit. Seems like it's same conditions here. Rain came to down Joburg, Highveld. Evening weather like this, it's going to test any conditions, and I feel sorry for the guys that put their efforts out there. The Mpumalanga guys really actually pushed us. Yeah, we were a bit clinical, and it was nice to be clinical against the side that was lots of energy and stuff like that. But again, there's a lot that we need to work on. The team hasn't really been together, so it's been really exciting to get the guys down. So yeah, I've got to say, yesterday's game was tough. Tonight's game was tough, even though maybe the score doesn't show it. The boys are sweating, everyone's running around, and that's probably what we wanted from this, is to get some legs, get some hockey in, and enjoy playing a bit of indoor again.
Well, and that's exactly it. Getting to play a little bit of indoor. I mean, obviously, at some point next year, we have to have an African qualifier for the World Cup. You've been to a World Cup. I mean, how amped are the guys to have the opportunity to qualify? Because originally, we were going to just qualify, but I know a lot of the players wanted to play.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you say that. We've got a squad of 23. I think we worked so hard in the COVID period where we were doing yoga sessions, Zoom sessions to get the team meetings going, and also some physical sessions with a German physical conditioning guy who actually tested a lot of us. But during the COVID time, we didn't actually have much time to have contact. This was the time to have contact, and that was important. And we know that we're going to have to play the competition soon, the African Cup of Nations. If it comes in February, if it comes in October next year, this group has been so keen to just get on the court and play. And yes, if we can have international experience, because that's what we will get from AFCON, it'll give us the opportunity to grow as a group and hopefully then come to a World Cup and perform well. Yet we still have to get through that African Cup. We know we have to play Namibia and Zimbabwe, and hopefully some other nation decides to come and join us. But yeah, we've been so keen to just get some hockey, and I think that's been the cool thing about this little series at the juniors, All-Stars here at the Griffins up in Joburg. I think this has been a great start for us to get our squad rolling again. Probably next week we might see a bit of changes with the squad, but it's just another opportunity to play some matches. And I think if we can look forward to something that maybe happens in December with an international side coming out, maybe in January something more, we might have that AFCON in Feb that could be exciting, which we should hear pretty soon. I hear that we know if we're going to have it earlier or not next year. So yeah, just excited. I think again, like I said, this group has been keen just to play some hockey and just to get some keenness on the court again. And I think these two games already showed. Tomorrow morning's game is going to be interesting. I think we play against the young Griffins under 19 side, which we don't know too much about, but we know the excitement and the typical Griffin type of style of always in your face and always playing for a little bit of skill and a bit of speed, which is going to be exciting. Going to test a lot of us older guys in the team.
Well, at least you've got an extra 10 minutes off on the legs, so no excuse tomorrow. Jet, good luck. Enjoy it, and great to see the team back together.
Yeah, thanks, Ty. Thank you guys. Thanks, Carlo. Thanks, Ty, and thanks for obviously the coverage. We haven't really had the opportunity to televise much of our games, maybe more recently now, which has been exciting. And again, it's just showing. We're trying to show what the Blitz talks about, the SA men's indoor team. We've done really cool things off the field already, which hopefully now is representing on the field, and hopefully we just build it for something great. And in the near future, you'll definitely see a side competing at the best in the world.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jet. Regards to the team. So last one from me. Absolutely great to be back at a hockey field. It's the first time in 11 months for me since December last year at PSI, and it's great to be able to see some hockey action in action. Obviously, we are now ending the game a little bit short, but it was good to watch what we did see, and very, very fortunate to be here. To all of you at home, I hope you enjoyed what you got to see. I'm going to hand over to Kyle to have a chat with David Joshua quick.
Thanks, Ty. David Joshua, the SA Indoor Men's coach, handing me an energy. You too, kind, sir. A bit unfortunate about the weather. I think the guys had a good start. We were saying, they really started to put the foot down and were a little bit more clinical than last night. They tend to move the ball. We were talking about that passing and moving, getting the ball into critical places, looking for the deflection a lot in the first two chuckers. Was it a performance that you were happy with in the beginning?
Yeah, thanks, Carl. We certainly came out hungry. I discussed in the change room that we left a couple of goals out on the field last night. So being clinical, looking for the extra pass was definitely something we discussed and we wanted to improve on. But at the same time, working a little bit harder for one another. We always work hard, but with a purpose, changes the entire game.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the attitude in the camp seems really, really good. All smiles all around. And, like you said, fighting for one another on the field. I know they were fighting with each other off the field today, playing a little bit of mashy golf. and having a bit of fun. But it's great to see the guys back on the pitch, back on doing what they love. What has it been like through this process where we haven't been able to be on the pitch? How do you keep the guys motivated to just keep pushing themselves to a point where they're the best in our country and they're going to a World Cup in 2022? How do you keep motivating them and pushing them forward?
Carl, it's been a bit of a challenge. During lockdown, we really formed an amazing unit. I mean, I think by now the world knows about Zoom and Google Meets and all those things, but we've really connected well. We did a couple of fitness sessions, we did Pilates every week, so we really connected away or over distance. To bring them together over this weekend is really something special, something that we had to take with both hands when the opportunity arose. As you know, the goalposts have shifted a number of times for these guys this year. To keep them excited means we just had to keep searching for an opportunity. And when this came up, we had to take it with both hands.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a great opportunity for the guys to get back on the field. It's a great opportunity for you to see the guys play again and make sure that you're building the connections that we've had for so long. With the Swiss series, you guys did phenomenally well. And it was just a really nice, the COVID just came at the wrong time, I think. We had built such nice momentum going forward. But I think it's something that, we definitely can build on. And you as the coach you've got your work cut out for you. But I think you've done a phenomenal job so far, coming from my opinion. But I wish you all the best for the upcoming series. Good luck for tomorrow morning. We'll be here back at 9 o'clock. We got the youngsters taking on the Griffins tomorrow. Any insight that you might be giving the guys for tomorrow?
Yeah, look, tomorrow we're playing against a talented group of youngsters, very similar to last night, with one or two additions, which I think are really going to make a massive difference. And it's going to be exciting to see youth versus experience tomorrow. So that always makes for good hockey. We know this. But at the same time, I expect nothing but the best from my SA lads.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David. We really appreciate your time. Pity about the weather, but we'll catch you tomorrow morning live at 9 a.m. Join us then and enjoy.